I want you to do something right now that most Australians never actually do. I want you to give yourself a retirement score, not what your super fund tells you, not what your financial advisor said 3 years ago. A real, honest number out of 10 based on where you actually stand in 2026. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most Australians heading into retirement or already in it have no clear picture of whether they are genuinely secure or quietly falling behind. They feel okay. They assume things will work out. But feeling okay and being okay are two completely different things. By the end of this video, you are going to have a clear framework to score yourself honestly across the 5 areas that actually determine retirement security in Australia right now. And whatever your number is, I am going to show you what to do with it. I am Daniel Brooks, and this is Centrelink Info Aus. Every week on this channel, we give everyday Australians the financial clarity that most people only get if they can afford a private advisor. If you are new here, hit subscribe right now because this kind of content could genuinely change your retirement. Let us get into it. Before we start scoring, let me explain why this exercise matters so much in 2026 specifically. The retirement landscape in Australia has shifted significantly in the last 12 months. The age pension indexation increased in March. A PRA introduced new lending caps. Super rules changed. The cost of living is still grinding people down. And the gap between Australians who planned carefully and those who assumed things would sort themselves out is wider than it has ever been. This is not about making you feel bad. It is about giving you an honest picture so you can actually do something about it. You cannot fix what you refuse to measure. Here is how the scoring works. There are 5 categories. In each one, you will give yourself a score between 1 and 10 based on your honest situation. At the end, add them up and divide by 5 to get your overall retirement score. Grab a pen if you want to write this down. Let us go through each one. The first category is your income security. This is about how reliably money flows into your life in retirement and from how many different sources. Give yourself a 1 or 2 if your only income is the age pension with nothing else coming in and no other income sources being developed. Give yourself a 5 if you have the pension plus a little super you are drawing down on, but that super is shrinking and there is no plan to replace it. Give yourself an 8 or 9 if you have the pension, a super balance you are managing carefully, and at least one other income source, whether that is a rental property, a small business, shares producing dividends, or a part-time income you enjoy. A 10 in this category means you have multiple reliable income streams that cover your essential expenses and then some, and you are not solely dependent on any single source. Most Australians who are honest with themselves land between a 4 and a 6 here. The pension alone in 2026 pays a maximum of $1,200.90 per fortnight for a single person. That is around $31,000 a year. It is livable, but it is tight, and one unexpected expense can throw the whole thing off. If your score in this category is below 5, income diversification is where your energy needs to go first. The second category is your super and savings position. Give yourself a score based on how much you have actually accumulated and whether it is being managed with any kind of strategy. A score of 1 or 2 here means you have very little super or savings. You are not sure exactly how much you have, and you have not looked at your super statement in more than a year. A 5 means you have a moderate balance, but you are not actively managing it. You are in the default fund your employer chose for you years ago, and you have not checked whether the investment mix still makes sense for your age and risk profile. An 8 or 9 means you have a clear picture of your balance, you have reviewed your investment options recently, and your drawdown strategy is mapped out so you know roughly how long your money will last. A 10 means your super is optimized, you have considered things like transition to retirement strategies if they apply to you, and your savings outside of super are also working for you rather than just sitting in a low interest account losing ground to inflation. The honest reality is that the median super balance for Australians approaching retirement is nowhere near what it needs to be for full financial independence. If your super is your only safety net and it is not being actively managed, your score in this category should reflect that. The third category is your pension eligibility and entitlements knowledge. This one surprises people because it is not about how much money you have. It is about whether you actually know what you are entitled to and whether you are claiming it. Give yourself a low score if you have never properly assessed your pension eligibility, if you assumed you do not qualify without checking the current thresholds, or if you are on the pension but you have not reviewed whether your payment is correct following the March 2026 indexation changes. Give yourself a higher score if you know exactly where your income and assets sit relative to the current thresholds. You understand how the income test and the assets test work and how deeming affects your payment, and you have confirmed that your Centrelink details are current and your payment is accurate. A 10 in this category means you also know about supplementary entitlements like the pension supplement, the energy supplement, rent assistance if it applies to you, the Commonwealth Seniors Health Card, and any concessions available in your state. The reason this category matters so much is that entitlements are not automatic beyond the basics. There is real money sitting unclaimed by Australians who simply did not know to ask. Since the March 2026 threshold changes, thousands of people who were previously ineligible are now able to receive something. If you have not checked recently, your score here should push you to do that this week. The fourth category is your debt and financial vulnerability. Retirement security is not just about what you have coming in. It is about what you owe and how exposed you are to financial shocks. Give yourself a low score if you are carrying significant debt into retirement, whether that is a mortgage, personal loans, credit card balances, or any ongoing financial commitments that eat into your pension or super drawdown before your essential living expenses are even covered. Give yourself a mid-range score if your debt is manageable but still present and you do not have a clear timeline for eliminating it. Give yourself a high score if you are debt-free or very close to it. You have a small emergency buffer of accessible savings to handle unexpected costs without going backwards, and your essential monthly expenses are comfortably covered by your income without stretching. A 10 here means you are debt-free, you have a buffer, and you are not one broken appliance or medical bill away from financial stress. For many older Australians, the mortgage is the biggest factor in this category, and the reality in 2026 is that more Australians are carrying home loans into retirement than at any previous point in history. If that is you, be honest with yourself in this score. The fifth and final category is your planning and awareness. This is the big picture one. How actively engaged are you with your own retirement situation? Give yourself a 1 or 2 if you do not have a clear picture of your monthly income and expenses, you have not spoken to a financial advisor or looked at your super and pension situation in the last 2 years, and your retirement plan is essentially just hoping things work out. Give yourself a 5 if you have a general sense of where you stand but no written plan, no regular reviews, and some areas you know you should look at but have been putting off. Give yourself an 8 or 9 if you have a clear monthly budget, you review your financial position at least once a year, you stay informed about rule changes that affect your payments and entitlements, and you have spoken to a professional about your specific situation. A 10 in this category means you are genuinely on top of it. You know your numbers, you have a plan, and when rules change, you find out early and adjust accordingly. Watching this video is actually a point in your favor here because staying informed is itself a form of planning. Now add up your 5 scores and divide by 5. If your number is between 8 and 10, you are in a strong position and your job is to protect what you have built and stay informed as rules continue to change. If you are between 5 and 7, you are doing reasonably well, but there are clear gaps that are costing you money or leaving you exposed. Pick the 1 or 2 categories where your score was lowest and focus your energy there first. If you are below 5, I want you to hear this without any judgment. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is closable, but it requires action, not assumption. The biggest mistake people in this situation make is waiting for a better time to start. There is no better time than right now. Here is what I want you to do today. Leave your score in the comments below. Just drop your number and tell me which category you scored lowest in. You will be surprised how many people are in the same position, and this community is genuinely supportive. If your pension entitlement score was low, log into your MyGov account today and check your current payment against the March 2026 updated rates. If your planning score was low, book a free appointment with a Centrelink Financial Information Service officer. It costs nothing and they can give you a clearer picture of where you stand. And if your debt score concerned you, write down every financial commitment you carry and look at it honestly. Clarity is the first step. Your retirement is not something that will sort itself out, but it is also not out of your hands. The Australians who end up genuinely secure in retirement are not always the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who paid attention, stayed informed, and made small, consistent decisions that added up over time. That is what this channel is here to support. If this video helped you, hit the like button right now and share it with someone you know who is approaching retirement or already in it. They deserve this information too. Subscribe to Centrelink Info Aus if you have not already and turn on notifications because the rules keep changing and we will always be here to break them down for you clearly. I am Daniel Brooks. Drop your score in the comments. I will see you in the next one.